Hey, what's going on, guys? Brandon Schaefer here. I know it's been a while, but I figured it's time to do a vlog because it's been so long, and I just wanted to make a video and try to just keep you guys updated. But I want to share with you in this vlog some of the recent works that I've done in the past few months since I've kind of haven't put any videos out. Starting back in autumn of 2017. So I decided to enroll in an online atelier. It was kind of a self-paced one. An atelier is just kind of like a studio where you learn kind of the classical methods of drawing, painting, stuff like that. And I just never learned how to do that correctly, you know, the drawing and how to do that real detailed. So I kind of found an online one that was kind of cheap, and I just did it for a month or two. And this is what came about. This was one of the drawings that I did. It's called a barg study. It's just something they do for students and stuff. It really helps you learn shading techniques and how to draw in proportion correctly and all this stuff. So this probably took me like a day and a half. You know, I spent probably a lot of hours, 10 to 14 hours on it, you know, just shading it and stuff. Came out pretty well. And then I decided that was graphite that I did that. And then I decided to do a small painting, a 9x12, from life, of a still life that I had. And I ordered these plaster casts of a sculpture that I believe Michelangelo did of David. It's like a 17-foot tall sculpture. This is a cast from that sculpture. So this is the mouth. So I decided to do that from life, and I really love how it came out. This is just a black and white study, so I was focusing just on value. There's no temperature or color in this, so it's mainly just drawing, value, and edges that you focus on. So it gets rid of the color, temperature, and color aspect of it, so that you can focus on just those really basic, you know, brushwork, values in the drawing, and a little bit of the edges as well. So I really love how that came out. So I really pushed myself with this. I probably spent a full day on this. I know it doesn't seem like a lot of time, but you know, I sat there all day, like just, you know, really getting into the details and stuff, making sure that I got the values correct and the overall, you know, getting the small value areas correct and edges, and keeping the drawing. While doing that, I'm keeping the drawing together and keeping the main value areas together. So this was very challenging because it's all reflected light in here, because you can see the darkest values are in the background, and then even though this is in shadow, there's a lot of reflected light bouncing in there and lighting it up. And getting that value correct and these subtle changes was a real challenge. And then, you know, if you squint at this all still remains in shadow. So that's something that was pretty challenging, keeping all of it in shadow while fixing some of the values, changing some of the values, lightening them up, stuff like that. That's just stuff that I try to keep in mind. And this is the good thing about doing studies like this, really detailed, longer studies, just focusing on value and drawing, because it helps me to focus on what I need to think about when I'm doing an actual painting, whether it's plein air from life or something in the studio, a landscape. You know, when something's in the shadow, even though it's reflected light, you still have to keep the reflected light in the shadow one, you know, it's good to group that into one shape, so when you squint, you know, the reflected light just fades into the shadow. It's all one shape. So that's something to keep in mind as well. I forgot to put the microphone in this mic, so I know the audio is not going to be the best for this video, but that's alright. Let's just keep rolling with it. These were some other studies I did in monochrome, and this was just using one color, so I'm not using white. I think I may have used white right in here a little bit because I had to fix up some areas. But other than that, like on this one, I just wiped out where I wanted it lighter. So I just used a paper towel or the brush dipped in some solvent, and the rest is just this kind of Mars red or Venetian red type of color. So that was a fun studies. This is like a little Beanie Baby dog, and this is like a small little vase, both painted from life. And once again, this was just focusing on brushwork, just having fun, playing around with brushwork and focusing on the drawing, edges, stuff like that. Color isn't really a big deal. I just wanted to do something other than black. So it's fun kind of using this kind of red color. You get some nice tones going on there. So let's see, what else have I been up to? I got some more paintings here, just a few, most of the small ones. A lot of the new larger works, if you want to check them out, they're on my Instagram, which is linked down below, or on my website, which is also linked down below, SchaeferFineArt.com. And I appreciate you guys checking it out. This is one I did pretty recently. Might be kind of hard to see, but it's of my cat on my couch sleeping. I painted it from life. And at the time, this was the only size panel that I had. So I ended up just doing a small quick sketch of her from life. Pretty cool. I like how it came out. This one is of a yurt. It's on the UC Davis campus, or at least near the main campus. It's where some students live, and actually straight across from where I took a photo of this and then painted it in the studio. But where I'm standing, right behind me, so opposite of where this painting is looking, opposite, there are these domes, white domes that students also live in as well, that I might do a painting of eventually, some kind of domes. They're kind of like eco-friendly domes that were built back in the 70s, and they do their own gardening and live in this little kind of community. It's pretty cool. It's something different, and I thought it'd be cool to paint. You know, it's cool to kind of capture, because who knows how long those domes will be there in this yurt. Within the last few years, like 2013, they were actually trying to tear these things down. They didn't want students living in them anymore. There was a big controversy about saving the domes and doing all this because they needed restoration work, and the school was saying we don't have the money to restore them and blah blah blah, even though the tuition is like ridiculously expensive. Like they don't have $40,000 to fix up, you know, a few domes for students to live in if that's how they want to live. So there was a whole big thing, but somehow they ended up saving them. You know, I think people volunteered time to fix them up, and it was pretty cool either way. So I might do some paintings of those eventually. This is a plein air that I did recently. It's of a pine tree. Pretty cool. It was in midday, very bright sun, so that's kind of what I was trying to capture. But it came out pretty well. This has been a favorite online for most of my Instagram followers and Facebook followers. This is a plein air that I did in the late evening. And it's of a little pond here, as you can see, and there's a bunch of Canadian geese scattered across the pond, so that was really cool. Actually painting animals in the nature, you know, they're all moving around and swimming around, and I'm just capturing like 3-stroke, 4-stroke little birds here. It was really cool. It was really cool to capture that. Definitely a cool painting spot. I've painted there many times, and I'm sure I'm going to go back in the future and paint more. But I really like that one. So these next, I haven't shown these to many people. I've actually probably haven't shown these at all online, really. It's a series of pomegranate studies that I did. And let me start with the first one. This is the first one I did. Very chaotic, and the greens are actually very cool. It was actually, the greens came out a lot cooler than they should be. But as you see here, the little dots of red and yellow, those are the pomegranates. And yeah, it was quite a challenge. So I was, you know, these caught my eye. It was little pomegranate bushes and stuff, but they're kind of big, almost you know, probably 10-foot tall trees and stuff, but they're kind of shaped like bushes. So I'm just standing right next to these things trying to paint it, and all I'm seeing is just a chaotic mess of leaves. So when I first did this one, I was trying to figure out how to simplify that chaos. How can I capture that chaos and simplify it? And I don't know that I did it correctly with this painting, but it was an interesting study. So here's the next one. I went back the next morning. That was in the evening. I went back the next morning and tried to capture them again. And I like the way this one came out a little bit better. I was starting to, you can see down here, I was starting to find these masses of dark areas next to the very light areas. So trying to make the pomegranates pop out and just get some value going. So this was a little more simplified. I still don't know that I captured it as well as I had wished. But there's always next year when they bloom again in September. I'm gonna try it again. So that's pretty cool, and there's one more in this series. So I decided after doing those, I went out one afternoon and the sun was really bright, and I decided, okay, I'm going to capture the whole area as a painting. And I did share this one on my Instagram. I don't know if some of you guys might have seen it. If not, here it is. So these bushes and the grass, you can kind of see I have some very soft edges, and it kind of gives this glowing effect of the light. And that's really what I was going for. So these are the pomegranate bushes. I was standing about right here, you know, painting in some of these bushes. So I kind of like how this came out. It's pretty interesting. You know, even this is trying to simplify all these bushes and especially simplify this background. There was so much greenery and just stuff happening, and I had to just simplify it into kind of just blotches of color, really. But came out pretty well, I think. So those were my pomegranate studies. So let's get into some smaller works here that I've recently done. And some of these are good and some of these are okay. You know, some of these are bad and some of them I'm unsure about. So this was one of those. So this one I was really trying to play with composition. I've painted here before in real life, and I have many photos from this area. So I was kind of using those photos and the plein air sketches that I've done to kind of create this one. So it's a row of pine trees and then some the sun setting way over here somewhere, but have that light coming across in this painting. And then kind of this subtle pathway that's kind of broken up by grass and just things. And I was trying to have more of a dynamic composition. You know, the horizon line's way up here, so it was just something I was playing around with. I'm not sure if it's successful. You know, I think I want to do a few more studies of this to try to get a more pleasing composition. Maybe do some sketches as well. But it was just something I had some fun with. Also, playing around with color and kind of the warmth back here. You know, the trees back here are just coming across as orange, and the grass is really warm compared to the rest of the scene. So that's something I was also playing around with. So that one's pretty cool. And this is a giant sequoia. This one I'm not sure that I enjoy it that much. You know, I really struggled with it a lot. It came out okay in the end, but I think I want to do some more work on this particular painting, maybe some more studies or even playing around with this painting. You know, I think having a pine tree here, you know, cutting across or even over here, just to give it more depth. I think it needs more depth. You know, I'm not sure if the lead in, you know, kind of coming in, trying to have this path of light come in to kind of guide you back into the distance and into this tree. You know, so I think it just needs a darker tree here in the foreground just to give it more depth, more spatial depth. So that's one I'm still playing around with, formats and composition wise. So when I do these little paintings, this is what I'm trying to figure out. I'm just trying to, you know, a lot of these are from photos, and sometimes I'll move things around, or I'll leave something out, or add something. And sometimes I don't do anything to the photos because I think they're good, and then I paint them as they are. And then like that one, I realize, okay, it needs a little bit more. It needs something more. It needs depth. It needs color. It needs light. You know, there's just these aspects of something it needs. Here's another one. So this one, once again, I'm playing around with that horizon line, you know, either keeping it here, moving it down here, you know, trying to get away from that center horizon line, trying more dynamic type of compositions. But this one, it's very boring. It's just this pathway, you know, leads you, boom. You know, when I'm doing these paintings, and after I do them, like I'm looking at this one now and I think, what is this one saying? What is this saying to me? Because a lot of times I just paint something because I think it's beautiful. I'm not necessarily sure what it's saying to me. Like, what is this landscape symbolizing? What is its message? So sometimes I'll just paint something, and then afterwards I go, okay, I look at this now and I go, what is it saying? And I try to figure out, you know, is there a message to it? Is there something in there that speaks to me more? And if it does, I'll do another painting and focus more on that message. Try to bring out that concept, whether it's altering the composition. You know, obviously the line of trees back here is a little bit boring. I think I want to bring down the distance back here. You know, modify some of these trees back here. You know, it's kind of just equally spaced, pretty boring. So this composition obviously needs work. There needs to be something more to it. And when I say like the message and the concept, it doesn't have to be like something so obvious. You know, some people would probably put a figure here walking on the trail in the distance. Like, you don't even have to do that. You don't, you know, for me, I don't feel that I need to have a figure in it to actually give it some kind of message or something. It could be something very subtle. You know, it could be anything. It could be, you know, just showing the depth of the distance back here, you know, and really emphasizing that, or de-emphasizing everything else. So it's just something that I need to figure out. You know, should I break the top with that tree? Should I just grow that tree out of the top of the painting? You know, there's a ton of decisions I could make with this. So more work on that one to come. So this is one that I think I really enjoy. It's of a redwood tree. Actually, a lot of these are redwood trees, but this one is the main redwood tree, obviously. And here's a little path through the meadow. And what I like about this one is, once again, that horizon line, so more dynamic composition. And it's obviously what the focal point is, and it has an obvious lead in. And right down here, I'm not sure if you guys can see that, it's going to go out of focus, but I have this little curve shape. It suggests that this trail goes off and then it curves right back toward the tree. Like, so I'm leading you into that tree, but it's not going straight in. It's not just a pathway going straight in. It comes out and then curves over here, curves back around. So it's that small, just having that little curve shape suggests a lot in this painting. So that's pretty cool. And let me see if I can get you guys to see that. This will focus. There we go. Anyway, you guys get the idea. So this painting I really enjoy. Let me see if I can get me back in focus now. Sorry guys. There we go. So this one, I think I really enjoy it. You know, I think a lot of the greens here are very similar. It gets a little boring, I think, maybe. So if I were to do this as like a larger painting, I think I would add some more variety back here into these greens. But with this study, what I was trying to show was the different types of greens going on here. So back here we have a lot of distance, so this is a lot bluer, a bluer green, especially in the shadow compared to this shadow. But I was trying to unify all these trees as well so that there's a big contrast between the tree greens and the meadow greens. So yeah, but I'm liking the composition. The tree's just slightly off center. Like I said, this path is a powerful lead-in. You know, the message is there. It's just a strong standing tree, you know. So yeah, I think that one would be cool as a really big painting. I think it might be pretty cool to do. And this is one of my most recent small paintings, and this is one of my favorites I've done in a long time. And you might have seen this one online if you follow me on my social media pages. Definitely check it out on there if you want to see a better image of it. So it's of a ancient bristlecone pine tree. And these trees get to be 4,000 to 5,000 years old. This particular one's probably around 2,000, something like that. And once again, that horizon line right here, pretty low. So the interesting thing about these trees, when I went up to these trees, these grow at altitude at 10,000 feet. So I'm on top of a mountain, 10,000 feet up. We drove all the way up this mountain. And this trail is about a mile long, so we're going up even higher, hiking a mile trail. And then to look up at these trees, looking up, I mean, you're looking up at almost to the top of the sky. And the blue up there is just ultramarine. It's just a brilliant blue. And I think that's what really sets this painting off, is it gives it this nice deep, rich blue color. And, you know, I wish you guys could see this. I have a lot of, let me see if I can get it to focus. A lot of texture going on there. You guys can see the shiny bits there. So as a finishing touch, I put some thicker areas in the tree here to suggest some texture, palette knife work. And it just really came out very well, I think. And honestly, I did minimal work with this painting. Minimal work was done on this painting. I didn't take a very long time on this painting, you know, just a normal amount of time, hour to 2 hours, maybe hour to hour and a half. And I'm really happy with how it came out. Sometimes it's a struggle to get a painting that I like that comes out this well. And sometimes it just happens like this one. It just happened to come about. So, and the funny thing was with this photo, I was showing a bunch of photos that I was about to paint, and I was showing them to my girlfriend, and I was trying to get her opinion, like what composition do you like what photo would stand out to you as a good painting? And she saw this photo and goes, nah, it probably wouldn't be a good painting, no. And I was like, really, no? And so I was like, okay, that's the one I want to do. So I ended up painting it, and I love the way it came out, ironically. I was unsure of it as a photo, and so was my girlfriend, and then I did this painting, and it was like, wow, this is a really cool painting. This one would probably be really cool as a larger painting as well. So these small paintings for me have their own charm, but they also serve as studies for larger works, you know, whether it's the color or the drawing, the composition, whatever it is, I can carry that into a larger painting and a larger work. So that's kind of what I've been working on lately, but I have so many paintings right now, and I really need to get into a gallery showing and try to sell some of these paintings. And right now I have a bunch of paintings for sale on my website, so if anybody's interested in that, or if you know anyone that would be interested in purchasing a painting, you can check out my website at SchaeferFineArt.com, of course. And I have all ranges. I have small paintings for cheap, I have large paintings that are more expensive. Most of the large paintings will come framed in a frame, and yeah, so it's pretty cool. And other than that, I've just been painting, drawing. I've been reading a lot every night. I've been reading I kind of just started in February reading a bunch of different books. Actually, in the middle of January I started. And I've just been trying to finish a book like every week or two. And so every night I'll read about 10 to 20 pages, just try to read as much as I can every night. And it's really changing my perspective on a lot of things. Just whatever I'm interested, I'm just reading up on it. You know, here's an interesting book, and I don't want to offend anyone. Everybody has their own religious beliefs and all that, and that's fine. But I'm almost finished with this book. It's called Jesus Christ, Son of God, as in the solar sun, Son of God, Ancient Cosmology and Early Christian Symbolism. So right now, this book, and there's just a lot of very, very interesting, compelling, and scientific things going on in here with geometry, the Greeks. You know, every other page almost has some kind of, mathematical thing to it. Talks about music, it just covers everything. But it's very interesting because it goes into symbolism and how the ancients really kind of figured out the harmony of life itself, the universe, how it relates to music scales, and the numbers in the music scales line up with everything else. It's really very interesting. But anyway, I'm running out of time here, guys. Camera's about to shut off here, so I hope this vlog wasn't too long. I hope you guys enjoyed it, just seeing some of the work I've been doing. Definitely follow me on Instagram, check out my website, Facebook, all that, and stay up to date on what I'm doing. Hopefully some more videos coming soon, also a live stream maybe, I'm not sure when, but I'm going to try to do it soon. And in August I'm going to be upgrading my apartment, and I'm going to have my own room as a studio, and I should be able to make videos any time of the day now, no matter if my girlfriend's home or not, or anybody's here. I can go in the room, close the door, boom, I can paint, have a studio, have a little video set up. So it's not going to be a huge room or anything. It's just going to be like a small, like 10 by 11, 10 by 13 type of room. But finally a bedroom, and I'm going to be able to, you know, paint all night or make videos all night or do whatever. So it should be cool. So hopefully by the end of this year, at the end of this year, I'll be making videos more frequently, and I'll be doing live streams more frequently, stuff like that. And should be pretty cool. Hope you guys will enjoy that. But until then, it's going to be pretty random. I'm going to do my best to do, you know, maybe one video a week. Try to do one video a week, just random stuff. I can just talk on, you know, whatever's going on, you know, work on a painting, fix up an old painting, just film it a little bit, talk with you guys. Anyway, take care of yourself. Peace.